There may be good reasons at this level for the Nigeria police force under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, to immediately invite Nigeria-serving lawmaker, Senator Prince Chinedu Nwoko aka Ned Nwoko, for questioning over apparent reasonable and evidence-based allegations of raping a minor, child marriage, child molestation, underage voters registration, and child abuse against the person of superstar Nigerian Nollywood actress, Regina Daniels, following the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC voters card, Senator Ned Nwoko presented this morning through his verified social media profile to challenge the allegation earlier made by Regina Daniels that she was still a minor at age 17 when the serving Nigeria senator forced her into early child marriage and started having sexual activities with her. A careful study of the INEC voters card, Regina Daniels' real name or full name was not stated in the election voters registration card that looked very questionable and manipulative. The voters card was issued on July 23, 2018 without the bearer real father's name. The voters card simply identify the actress as Daniels Regina Nimaka, with date of birth as October 10, 1998. This, Chius Nwoko, a family member of Senator Ned Nwoko, in recent days issued a video statement wherein he accused and described the senator as a man of too many bad characters, saying that Senator Ned Nwoko and the actress' father once stayed together in one apartment, and the statement of Chius Nwoko indicated that Senator Ned Nwoko knows the real name of the biological father of the star actress. Hence, as a learned and well-educated person, Senator Ned Nwoko was probably in a good position to know that the voters card was questionable, and it appears to be very fraudulent, because, a year before the questionable and apparent fraudulent INEC voters card was issued, the actress had sworn an affidavit and declared her real names as Ajegwu Regina Nimaka Favor, born on the 10th of October, 2001, as stated in her 5 years international passport issued on May 9, 2017 and renewed on January 11, 2022 with same names and date of birth for 10 years international passport. According to the founder of Sowore Reporters News Media, Omoyele Sowore, it was Senator Ned Nwoko who probably and allegedly may have obtained the fake INEC voters card to conceal the real age of the star actress, saying, Senator Prince Ned Nwoko has traveled with Regina Daniels to Jordan, UAE, Egypt, with her only passport showing she was underage when Ned Nwoko married Gina, but for some curious reason, never took her to England, the US, or Europe because he knew the implications. Verbatim, Senator Ned Nwoko said in a statement issued on Thursday morning with the INEC voters card attached, that, it has come to my attention that false claims are being circulated by Regina, suggesting that I married her when she was 17 years old. These claims are entirely untrue and misleading. For clarity, during my first meeting with Regina, I asked her age, and she told me she was 21 years old. Former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Buratai, has described the conduct and behavior of a Nigeria-serving minister and former governor of Rivers State, Wike, before a serving Nigeria soldier in the naval force as reckless, and thus insulted and disrespected the person and the office of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after the minister had a confrontation with the naval officer with the service name, A.M. Yerima, at Plot 1946, Gudua District, Abuja, over ownership and development rights to a parcel of land allegedly linked to a former chief of naval staff. This, a careful study of some video footage made available online, especially the video captured and published by Channels Television, apparently indicated that the FCT minister, Wike, physically assaulted one of the operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, that was seen protecting the minister against a potential threat of armed soldier who was on a direct viewpoint with the minister. The DSS officer proactively moved to give the armed soldier a close marking and chest up to the defense line, with the armed soldier who was moving steps on a close range and direct viewpoint to the minister. But, surprisingly, the minister, in a manner that looks very disrespectful and belittling, walked up to the DSS officer and dragged him to leave the way. Professionally, the DSS operative angrily resisted Wike and said with a loud voice that he can't leave the defense line, that the armed soldier is being unprofessional with the way the armed soldier was standing on a direct viewpoint to the minister. Quickly, one of the combatant DSS officers from behind moved towards the armed soldier and pushed him off the defense line. Thereafter, the situation became violently rowdy and was almost leading to a complete fight, even when the DSS operatives formed a circle around the minister to protect him. Wike was seen trying to violate the DSS human shield in a manner as if he was going personally to confront one of the armed soldiers, but the DSS officers ensured the minister was denied the opportunity to endanger his own life, and after the violent situation, all the armed soldiers moved backward while the DSS officers built a human defense wall against the armed soldiers completely. Only the senior army officer, who appeared not armed, was now in close contact with the minister, and according to the former chief of army staff, Lieutenant General Buratai, Wike's action is a clear act that presents danger to national security, and undermines the authority of the commander-in-chief and the integrity of the armed forces. The FCT minister, accompanied by senior officials of the Federal Capital Development Authority, had visited the site to stop what he described as an illegal construction, when he confronted a naval officer allegedly supervising the property. In a viral video of the incident, Wike was seen expressing outrage with insulting words such as, "You are a fool, when I graduated, you were still in primary school," while the officer insisted that he was acting on orders given to him by a vice admiral. Wike could be heard and seen in the videos shouting on top of his voice, saying, "You are in uniform, and you're telling me that the Navy owns this land? Who gave you the right to build without approval? Even if you are the chief." Well-known human rights activist and founder of the Sowore Reporters news media, Sowore has called on the British government that the United Kingdom, UK should immediately place a ban on Nigeria serving senator representing Delta North Senatorial District in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Prince Chinedu Nwoko aka Ned Nwoko, as a registered lawyer in the United Kingdom over allegations of child abuse, raping of minor and molestation allegedly committed against the person of Nigeria popular Nollywood actress, Regina Daniels, after the superstar actress revealed on Sunday that she was forced into early marriage at the age of 17 by the serving Nigeria senator, which, according to Sowore, Regina Daniels at 17 was still a minor under the UK law and therefore called on the Law Society of England and Wales to be alerted, and the Solicitors Regulation Authority, SRA, must begin disciplinary proceedings before the Independent Solicitors Disciplinary Tribunal, SDT, determined Senator Ned Nwoko fitness to still practice law in the UK, while Sowore stated this earlier on Sunday. On Monday evening, Sowore raised alarm of fresh plans by the serving Nigeria senator, Ned Nwoko, to allegedly block the release of the detained Regina Daniels' brother, Samuel Ejegwu aka Sammy West, and arrest his mother-in-law, Regina Daniels' mother, Rita, and Regina Daniels' friends. But Sammy West was later seen in a video on Monday night being released from prison. According to Sowore, APC Senator, Prince Ned Nwoko must be held accountable for crimes against a minor and abuse of power. The case of APC Senator Prince Ned Nwoko has gone far beyond politics. It now points to serious criminal conduct and gross abuse of power, as revealed by his now estranged wife, Regina Daniels. According to Regina Daniels, Senator Prince Ned Nwoko married her when she was only 17 years old, at a time when she was legally a minor under UK law, where Nwoko remains a registered legal practitioner. Any sexual activity following that marriage would, under British law, amount to statutory rape. More disturbing are Regina Daniels' allegations that Senator Nwoko introduced her to hard drugs while she was still underage and repeatedly forced himself upon her. These are not mere moral failings. They're serious criminal offenses that demand investigation and prosecution. It is unacceptable for Ned Nwoko to continue parading himself as a lawyer in the United Kingdom while facing these damning allegations. The Law Society of England and Wales must be alerted, and the Solicitors Regulation Authority, SRA, must begin disciplinary proceedings before the Independent Solicitors Disciplinary Tribunal, SDT, to determine his fitness to practice law in the UK. We will not allow Ned Nwoko to continue using the now disgraced Nigeria police force, his political influence, or illicit wealth to suppress victims, pervert justice, and trample on human rights in Nigeria or anywhere else in the world. Impunity has an expiry date, and that date is now. Stop Senator Prince Ned Nwoko's abuse of power and Nigeria superstar actress who has been in the news since she got married to a man many said was old enough to be her grandfather. Regina Daniels on Sunday early morning night revealed that she was married to the Nigeria senator representing Delta North, Prince Chinedu Nwoko aka Ned Nwoko, as a minor at the age of 17, a statement that allegedly accused the serving senator, Ned Nwoko, of apparent serious crime of child abuse, raping of minor, child molestation and forced child marriage because Nigeria constitution stipulates 18 years of age for someone to be considered old enough to be able to consent to marriage or sexual activities, and any sexual activity with a minor. The older person is presumed according to the Nigeria constitution as a criminal suspect who took advantage of the minor and liable for child abuse and other related crimes. Although Senator Ned Nwoko is a Muslim by religion, a careful study of the Nigeria laws indicated that Islamic law is only binding on Muslim and not Muslim and Christian or people from other religions. We are also aware that both of them are from Delta State in the south-south geopolitical zone of Nigeria that is predominantly Christians, that practices 18 years as a statutory and customary age requirement for someone to be considered old enough to give his or her voluntary consent for marriage and other forms of sexual activities. Last month October, there was a heated debate at the Nigeria Red Chamber of the National Assembly where the senators bemoaned the high rates of child abuse and defilement of minors in Nigeria and recommended a stiffer punishment of life imprisonment for offenders. Specifically, according to the Daily Post newspaper publication on October 21, 2025, the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Adams Oshiomhole, said defilement of a minor should be different from that of rape. For a minor, this is a kid that is not capable of consenting or otherwise and whose life can be destroyed almost permanently. Those involved in defilement should suffer great punishment. I propose 20 years imprisonment for whoever is found culpable for this crime without any option of fine, because I have seen cases of boys and girls under 5 and 10 years old being defiled by adults, he said. The proposal was, however, defeated by the majority in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. Following the defeat of the bill, Senator Mohammed Adamu Aliero, Kebbi Central, proposed stiffer punishment of life imprisonment for any man or woman found wanting in the act. I want to propose that the punishment for defilement for minors be life imprisonment, whether it's a man or woman found culpable. According to Regina Daniels, before she became the wife of Senator Ned Nwoko, she was not into drugs or a drug addict. She alleged that it was Senator Ned Nwoko who influenced and forced her into the habits of taking drugs in order for she to be able to satisfy the senator's sexual desire or meet up with his sexual pleasure. Verbatim, Regina Daniels said, "Dearest ex-husband, thanks for breaking the crown you put on my head. No one knew us like we did, and I trusted you with all of me, even with my sex tape, which I pray never sees the light of day. Foolish me. When I married serving Nigeria Senator, Prince Chinedu Nwoko, well known as Nedo Nwoko, has listed and narrated some of the things he has done for the family of his absconded fourth wife, Regina Daniels, particularly stating that his mother-in-law, Regina Daniels' mother, Rita, received 125 million nairas from him in the past 2 years alone, apparently challenging the mother-in-law earlier media statement that none of the senator's children looked like a child of a billionaire, and that she on her own spent her hard-earned money to support the senator's election, in addition to the $50,000 Regina Daniels gave to the 65-year-old Muslim husband from the southern part of Nigeria. Outside that, Senator Ned Nwoko apparently tried to explain why his brother-in-law, Sammy, was arrested and detained after his wife, Regina Daniels, ran away from her matrimonial home and decided to end the marriage with the serving Nigeria senator on the ground of domestic violence, intimidation and oppression that made her looks like nothing in the house of the senator, who she swiftly replied yesterday that Ned Nwoko never married her legally, and she was apparently still a minor at age 17 when the Nigeria serving senator allegedly forced her into early marriage. Details of Regina Daniels' statements and the legal implications will be reported and published in our next news report for proper clarification and understanding, so that appropriate government bodies like the Nigeria Police Force will be held accountable to take decisive action for the protection of girl-child against sexual abuse, molestation, raping of minor and child marriage. According to the serving senator, Ned Nwoko, who attached 2 videos to his statements of Sammy, Regina Daniels' brother, having misunderstanding with some of his domestic staff and the policeman at his house. These videos show Sammy, Regina's brother, repeatedly coming to my home and harassing my children and domestic staff, especially whenever I was not around. His visits were often aggressive and disruptive. This is someone I sponsored through his last 2 years at the University of Ikpoma. I bought his musical instruments, rented and furnished a flat for him in Abuja, in addition to the house I bought for Regina in Asaba before our marriage for the use of all of them. I also routinely provided allowances to all members of the family, including her mother, Rita Daniel. Indeed, in the last 2 years, I have a record of transferring 125 million nairas to her alone. When Regina started her rehabilitation, there was a clear instruction by the doctors to strictly restrict people, especially her enablers, from having access to her. The therapy was arranged after I noticed troubling changes in her behavior linked to her dependence on certain illegal substances, including going for 48 hours without sleeping and eating every 2 hours. Unfortunately, Sammy, Destiny, some of their siblings, together with a few of their friends, notably Sonia Uche Montana among others, constantly defied those instructions. They would come into the house uninvited, sometimes forcing their way in, and would bring her the same drugs she was being treated for. Instead of helping her recover, they encouraged her addiction and completely frustrated the efforts of the doctors. Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, has said that the detained Biafra Republic agitation leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has not forfeited his rights to defend himself before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, after the judge, Justice James Omotosho, ruled on Friday and stated that Nnamdi Kanu's rights to enter defense has been forfeited and thereafter fixed November 20, 2025 for judgment, as Nnamdi Kanu was seen to have staged a defensive confrontation with aggressive loud voice, challenging the court that the federal government allegations against him has no legal basis or any aspect of the Nigeria law that backs such allegations. This, Barrister Oloyejimako, the organizing lawyer for the detained Biafra Republic agitation leader, had on Wednesday said in a written and video statement posted on his X social media account that Nnamdi Kanu is competent enough to defend himself, especially given the political elements in the case which he understands better than any lawyer. In a press release issued and made available on Friday, IPOB, in the statement signed by Emma Powerful, said it strongly condemns the new round of fake news being pushed by certain Nigerian media outlets. The false claim that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has forfeited his right to defense in the ongoing trial before Justice James Kolawole Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, is a desperate lie meant to mislead the public and cover up an illegal process. Let the truth be clear, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not forfeited anything. What is happening in court is not a fair trial but a political show. Up till today, neither Justice Omotosho nor Chief Adigboyegba Awomolo, SAN, the government's lead prosecutor, has been able to point to any valid, existing law that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu supposedly broke. Their silence speaks volumes. It is a quiet confession that this entire case has no legal foundation. The core question remains simple. Can anyone be prosecuted or convicted without a living law that clearly defines the offense and prescribes a punishment? The answer is written in Section 36(12) of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution. A person shall not be convicted of a criminal offense unless that offense is defined and the penalty therefore is prescribed in a written law. This means you cannot charge or convict anyone unless the law exists in black and white. No judge or lawyer can twist that. The Supreme Court has said the same thing many times. In Nwoko vs. Fagbemi, 1961, AG Federation vs. Abubakar, 2007, and NNPC vs. Fawahinmi, 1998. Where there is no law, there can be no trial, no conviction, and no justice. But instead of obeying this clear rule, Justice Omotosho keeps trying to force Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to open his defense, as if pretending there's a valid case will make it real. This is wrong. It's a misuse of power and a clear violation of fair hearing. You cannot force a man to defend himself against a ghost charge. So we ask again, under which law is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being tried? What act of the National Assembly defines his supposed offense? And
COAS bringing you the news in a more digital way.